time to shift gears a little bit here and go into a completely different matchup. We are going into San versus MarineKing.
And this is going to be a really good game right now. San against MarineKing is going to be a great match. MarineKing, of course, a huge fan favorite, but San has quite a lot of fans himself.
Now, notice that we have, of course, our results here from the previous series, Effort versus Hacked. Effort did triumph, and he will play against True. And then, of course, the winner of round 2 will play against whoever wins between Trap or Curious, which should be a great Protoss versus Zerg. We talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game. In the round of 2, we will in the round 2 we will have Trap versus Curious. That's going to be an epic match. Trap has really shown that he is especially good against Zerg these days. Has defeated quite a lot of Zerg opponents in the qualifier bracket already. Then we have him here up against Curious after he just took out Sniper. It's going to be a really good one. But now we're heading into a match where we don't have a single Zerg participant. This time it's all about Terran and Protoss.
Yeah, all about Terran and Protoss indeed. This is going to be a pretty cool Terran versus Protoss that we're going to see. Two players, as I mentioned before, are MarineKing and San. Players who are very good friends. You know, they're hanging out before the match, talking a lot in the makeup room. Just, you know, listening. I didn't listen to anything they were talking about, but they just were, you know, doing some friendly banter with each other. They're very close friends, and this is going to be friends becoming enemies. They have to face each other here, and whoever loses goes back to the qualifiers. San just qualified, as you can see from the bottom. MarineKing, on the other hand, is coming down from Kodes.
Definitely true. So MarineKing, the player that we've seen a lot more in the recent past, and in the GSL, we had San already play. In the qualifier bracket, he really did a very good job and was one of the few who was able to get into Code A right now. But this is the first round, and whoever loses here has to go down to Code B. So if MarineKing wants to stay in Code S and continue his runs in the GSL, then he has to give it his all now.
MarineKing just joking in the chat that he thinks San is much better than Tails. I don't know why, but that's what he said. So we'll see what sort of strategy San has. Maybe he's going to do a strategy like some of you've seen Tails do. I don't know why he's talking about that. You know, they talked a lot before the match, so very lighthearted. You know, until the game starts, until they start mining those minerals, you know, they can joke with each other as much as they want.
Atlas is going to be our first map in this Terran versus Protoss. MarineKing ready with his red rim glasses. And on the other hand, we have, of course, the Protoss play here, starting for Team Azubu. That's going to be a good match.
Here we go. Map is loading. DF Atlas, like you said, is the map. A great map for Terran versus Protoss. So many different engagement points that can happen when the game goes late. I love that monkey, by the way. That MANGOSIX monkey is always smiling.
MANGOSIX monkey is pretty awesome. That's definitely true. I love when we have the mascot here when Kodes is on. Jumping into the game now here at the WCS Challenger League, we are finding out if MarineKing is going to be the victor against San here at the GSL Code A with Holland Wolf. And starting to the top right, think pink, we have the Terran player for the Prime team. It is
MarineKing Prime.
Interesting. Chose pink as his color. Can choose any color you want.
Oh, look at that. He changed his keyboard. He has another TT Sports keyboard, but this is not the one that he used to have.
Yep.
The red and pinkish one. Bottom right, we have his opponent. Starting for Team Azubu, a Protoss player in blue. Calls himself
Azubu San.
San. The mountain was strong when he played in the qualifiers.
Yeah. 22 years old. In the qualifier, he had to defeat Shark in the finals, and before that he played a lot of PvPs. Defeated only a few players. We had a couple of players pulling out of the qualifier, one of them Value, who San would have had to face in the first round, so he got a free win there. Then in the quarterfinals he faced an unknown Terran player, and from that point on took down Emotion, took down Shark. Got a bit of an easier bracket here compared to other qualifier brackets that we've seen in the past qualifier, but now he's up against a strong opponent, map number 1, so San has to be really careful here.
He certainly does. He's been with the Azubu now for quite some time. He's been practicing with those guys together under a great environment. The players talk so much about how they love that practice environment they have with their new coach, and I'm expecting big things coming out from San. MarineKing is a player that everybody knows. He dropped out of Code S. He's got a huge history. And even though San played back at the same time MarineKing was starting to play, MarineKing has had much better and much more notable results than San has internationally as well.
He's definitely an amazing player, MarineKing, that is. He's a player. He was the first player to win 2 MLG titles in a row, and the second one after Huck to win 2 titles of MLG overall. A great player, a lot of success in Code S, was in the Premier League here in Korea for a long time, just now dropped out here. And for example, he participated in all Code S seasons in 2012. A great player, but he has struggled a little bit at the end of Wings of Liberty in a lot of the bigger tournaments because his builds were a bit predictable. Stated that he thinks well, I talked to him quite a bit at the end of Wings of Liberty about his builds, and he said that he thinks he needs to change it up a little bit, that he became way too predictable and also a bit risky. Now here in Heart of the Swarm, we might see something different. But for now, he's going into double Reaper, and we have him with the command center.
This is actually going to make him really vulnerable, though, to the build that San has chosen. He's doing that aggression with the Mothership Core. And with this, MarineKing is not going to have a lot to defend, especially if his Reapers are actually across the map. If he doesn't see this unit coming into his main base, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He could lose his Reapers and then his Marines, and here they go. He needs a micro against the Zealot as best he can to run around. He's going to need those 2 Marines, and he's going to need a bunker. There's the bunker starting now.
He's building it right away. The problem is the bunker really going to finish in time? The Mothership Core is also on its way and now has high ground vision. And here comes the rest of the army. This is actually really difficult for MarineKing to hold. He's already pulling his SCVs off the middle line.
Yeah, and that second Stalker is on its way right now. He's losing so much mining time, MarineKing, that is.
The early gates here definitely coming through for San. Doing a great job here. The second Stalker is in position.
Yep, there's a forward piling up during all of this. It's not going to be useful as Warp Gate Research is a long way away from completion, but he can use it later if he wants to.
The bunker is done, but he just can walk past it. He can always recall with the Mothership Core.
And we have a robotics going down for San. Very interesting. I wonder what he's going to use that for specifically. You know, he hasn't scouted anything that needs detection. He already knows exactly what his opponent's doing. This may be an immortal push that we see from him. Look at this positioning on the barracks. So calculated. He knows the barracks can't move because if he moves it, he loses the reactor. And that's his only production facility right now. MarineKing realizes he pulls his SCVs.
Yeah, this is definitely a huge problem here. San with so much aggression. Now
recall.
The SCVs are moving in, and he's losing a lot, and he recalls right away. Such an aggressive opening by San, going into the 10 gate and at first just dedicating all his gas into the Stalker production, even delaying his Warp Gate research a little bit.
It's a proxy robo. I didn't even realize that. Okay, so he's actually just going to be doing the Immortals as I thought, but he's going to walk them out of that robo. He needs to send his Stalkers back for a little bit of time because he knows those Reapers are out there. And, uh-oh, he just barely misses them. And this means the Reapers are going to go in there and see no Nexus.
There they are, going into the main base now. We have 1 Stalker here, that's all. All of the Marines of MarineKing are guarding the ramp, whereas the Stalker is now fending off the Reaper aggression.
And very critically, he saw that the Chrono Boost went down on the Warp Gate research, which lets him know that there's some sort of timing coming here. MarineKing is too scared to even move down the ramp right now with his Marines.
And he should be. The units of San are already attacking the natural here. The command center is being targeted, but the Marines are moving in, and San doesn't see it.
That was close. That 1 Stalker low on hit points barely survives.
Low on hit points, that's an understatement right there.
And MarineKing does not have stim, he does not have combat shield, he just has plain Marines. And they're not going to be very good against a push like this, especially with good micro. The Mothership Core is back here again.
You know, MarineKing was talking in the lobby about how he thinks that San is better than Tails, and if you think that Tails is the build order king, you can certainly see why. This is really interesting how he approaches this matchup.
Hey, he saw some weaknesses, he went for the proxy robotics. And this has clearly been his build from the beginning. Oh, I'm so excited to see how this is going to play out. MarineKing has a lot of Marines. He has enough to hold, but he has to micro extremely well. He needs to buy time. And I don't think it's possible without a bunker. He doesn't know that this is a big push coming, so he hasn't made the bunker. But he needs to react immediately here.
Time Warp on the ramp would be so strong against those Bioforces. Where's the rest of the army? There they are moving in. We have the Time Warp. It's just there. And there's the force field. What an amazing force field. All those units, they can't get out.
They can't get out. The units on the high ground, though, are doing some damage. But he just does not have enough.
That was such a great trap. It was such an amazing trap. The Reapers, they find the pylon, but they are only tickling the structure.
And that Marauder is going to wish he wasn't a Marauder when he gets hit by those Immortals. He's going to lose that reactor, going to further limit his production.
And here come the SCVs. He's pulling them all. He's trying to do something, but there we go. We have all the units once again in position, and MarineKing doesn't dare to go down the ramp. He knows that force fields will cut him off.
Yep, even Zealots here blocking the SCVs out. The Mothership Core goes down, but so is the command center.
And MarineKing, he is at 37 supply. We have a supply block for San, but the Protoss moves up the ramp.
Moving up the ramp, doing some serious damage. Going to take out that starport before it can even finish the medevac. It looks like just barely.
Wow, one medevac just barely able to get through here, use the booster, and even evacuates those Marines. Good job by MarineKing.
He wants to get some Widow Mines out here, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. He's losing way too much.
He's lost so much already. 36 supply against 51, and San is not done yet. Takes down the factory.
And the Marines with combat shields a little bit scarier than they were before, but he just does not have enough. MarineKing, it's like he's known for, always fighting until the last moment here. Loses another add-on. He's going to lose Stim probably as well if he targets it.
One of the big turning points in this game, definitely this excellent time warp with the 2 force fields that we had on the ramp, trapping so many of the Marines. And now San is moving in for the killing blow.
And that's it. He's got nothing left. MarineKing has those 2 Reapers, but that's GG.
GG indeed. San takes the lead in the best of 3 series. He's up 1-0 against the King of Marines. What a great build.
That was well executed. It looked like that's what he had planned from the beginning with that pylon. And, you know,
so much aggression there.
He scouted everything he needed to know. He scouted, yes, MarineKing is playing pretty greedy as usual, and I'm going to punish him for it.
That early gate, the 10 gate, the delayed warp gate technology, because he invested the gas in those stalkers at the beginning, chrono boosted everything, he got the mothership core right away, high ground vision, accumulated the energy later on, the time warp at the perfect timing, and then the force fields cutting those army in half. That was very well done. San with a brilliant performance in game number 1.
Brilliant indeed. Oh, that was... You know, everything he did was well executed. Patient against the Reapers. Very nice execution on his mothership core pressure, even with the recall. MarineKing now playing on Belshir Vestige has to get himself together and make sure he stays calm against a very unpredictable San. Remember, if MarineKing loses now, he's out of the GSL.
Yeah, MarineKing would drop down in Code B. This is the first round of Code A. It's the toughest one of them all. It's really crazy, and we are heading into the next match. Belshir Vestige is going to be the map. Map number 2 between MarineKing and San. Can the King of Marines turn things around? Can he force a 3rd map, or will San pull off a 2-0 against the former Code S player? That's something that we're going to find out right now. Heading into map number 2, heading into Belshir Vestige here, the GSL actually. Code A WCS Challenger League, brought to you by Carl and Wolf.